There we go.
So if you ride a lot, eventually you're going to get a flat tire out on the road. Today I'm going to teach you how to change a flat and get you back on the road riding again. The very first thing, if you get a flat, is to make sure that your bicycle and you are off of the road and in a safe place to change your flat. So you want to make sure that you're far enough off the road that you're not impeding with the cars. If you're on a bike path, again, you want to move your bicycle and you off of the path so you're not interfering with other cyclists that are riding by. The next thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you have all of the proper equipment to change your flat. This is something that you should be checking and making sure that you have in a pack on your bike ready to go before you take off on the ride, not in the middle of the ride. It's always wise to have some sort of seat bag or something on your bicycle that carries all those proper tools. The things that you would need would be a spare tube, tire levers, and some sort of inflation device, whether it be a CO2 cartridge and inflator, a small mini pump, or some sort of frame pump that is mounted onto your bicycle. So now that you're off the road and in a safe place, your next step is going to be to shift the bike down to its lowest cog in the back and remove the wheel. With your shifter, you're going to shift it down to the lowest cog, and then you'll need to release the brake on the back to get the wheel out. Undo the quick release, and then if you push the derailleur a little forward, that relieves tension on the chain, and the wheels should just drop right out. So now that you have the tire removed from the bicycle, our next step is going to be to take the tire actually off of the rim. You'll need your tire levers. I prefer the little tire levers that have the little hooks on the end of them. Sometimes you feel like you have to have 3 hands to actually change a tire rather than 2. So that process goes like this. You start with the first one. You'll put it into the tire, flip it around, and that little hook will hook on that spoke and hold that tire lever for you. And then you can move over to the next one and do the same thing. Hook it on there. And then as you get to the third one, you should be able to slide it along and take the tire off. Now that we have the tire removed from the rim, the next step is going to be to check the tire for any debris that may still be in it that would cause another flat. When I do this, I always try to find a starting point on the tire so that I kind of know when I've made the full circle around. So I will just start by running my fingers all the way through and around the tire. And you may catch your finger on a little piece of thorn or a piece of glass or something, so you want to be a little careful not to go too fast to cut yourself. But once you find something, then you might have to push that thorn back out of the tire. But you'll go the full circle and make sure that there's nothing in there. So now that we've checked for all the debris, it's now time to install our new inner tube. So we're going to take our new inner tube out of our pack. We'll undo it. And it's always good to put a little bit of volume into the tube before you put it in. That gives you less chance to actually pinch or twist the tube when you're installing it. So you can either blow it up by your mouth like this, or you can take your pump and just put a little bit of air in the tube just to give it a little bit of volume. So then I'll screw the top back on it a little bit just to make sure it doesn't leak out. I always start by actually inserting the tube into the tire and put it all the way around. This kind of holds everything in place. So once it's all the way in there, then I will take and put my rim, and I'll start with the valve stem, and I'll put it right down into the hole first. We'll work it around on one side of the tire, like that. Then once we got the one side in, then we're going to work it around again, starting from the valve stem and working your way around with your thumbs, pushing it around to the point where you're rolling the last bit of the tire onto the rim. Some tires are tighter than others, so you may have to use a tire lever, but if at all possible, try to do it without using a tire lever. The last step before you're inflating the tire is to run through and check and make sure that there's no tube being pinched between the rim and the tire, and that's just a visual check that you can do. If you have a little mini pump such as this, you'll just open your valve stem up, put the pump on there, flick your little lever, and start pumping it up. I like to pump it up a little bit slowly and make sure that everything's seated properly. And then once we get it all pumped up, then as far as putting it back onto the frame, one of the most critical parts is to make sure that your cog is in between these two chains. So by pushing this derailleur down, it just loosens the tension and moves them a little farther apart. When you're putting it on, you don't necessarily have to have it on the first cog. Somewhere in the first 1 to 3 cogs is okay, and it just simply pulls back up inside. Tighten your quick release down, redo your brakes, and you're ready to go. Hopefully this video will make things less stressful next time you have to change your tire. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to message our customer service department. And if you like this video, please subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends.